The first kind of t-test that we will use is called the single sample t-test, and the single sample test is to compare your sample basically to an established norm. And so you're not comparing two different samples, but you're comparing one sample with a criterion number. And with all of our t-tests, we go to the Analyze menu and compare means. And then here we want the one sample t-test. As I've said before, you always want to click on options and see what you can do. But here, this gives you confidence intervals. We'll talk about those in a later lecture. We can set what percent we want confidence on those. And then missing values. We can either exclude cases analysis by analysis or listwise, which means if there's any missing data anywhere, then none of the analyses will be run. Here, if there's missing data, it'll just exclude it from that analysis. And so I usually leave it as this, unless you have some reason to believe that missing data reflects some systemic reason that someone didn't fill in the data. And here, this is the spiritual well-being data. And let's look at spiritual well-being itself and put in, and this is just an arbitrary value, 100. And what we are testing is whether or not spiritual well-being in our sample is significantly different than 100 on average. And so we're looking to see if the mean level here is likely to indicate that this sample, the population from which it's derived, the mean there is different than the 100, which is the mean everywhere. Test in the value there and type OK. You get an output file here. And then it runs your t-test for you. I often maximize the window so I can see what all's going on. And here we go. Here your output. It tells you how many people were in your sample, 77. Some descriptive statistics about them. Gives you the value for t, their degrees of freedom, the significance. Here it is a two-tailed test, so you're testing both whether it is greater than or less than. So it is could be either of those. You can do a one-tailed test, and that will change your significance level. Here it's 0.004, which is less than the magic 0.05 that is the custom of most folks in social science. Mean difference is the mean of the difference between our data and 100. And here is the confidence interval of the difference. So you'll notice that our folks, the mean difference is 5.6 less than 100. And that's how you run the single sample t-test.